Hi, folks. Welcome back to your Chalmette Movies. William Dwell with Real Talk NOLA, and I'm going to send it over to Carl. We're going to start our synopsis of the first two installments of the Batman trilogy, as done by Nolan.
Yeah. So Batman Begins. First of all, I guess Batman being played by Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Whose first foray is American Psycho. It was his first, I guess, breakout American role.
And not only that, but this is coming off. He filmed The Machinist 2 weeks before he started principal filming of this. So go watch skinny Christian Bale.
Look, here's just an image of him in The Machinist.
2 weeks later,
yeah,
Batman.
And then here's an image of him as Batman. So he's done this with the Fighter.
I want his personal trainer.
Yeah,
is what we're saying.
Yeah, yes. You know, and a great actor in The Machinist. I felt Machinist was superior.
Yeah.
Just not just because of the losing the weight and all that, but just some of the way he played that role.
Well, not only that, it showed a dark role, and then he goes into a darker role.
Well, American Psycho, dark. Machinist, darker. Dark Knight, darker. And recently, The Fighter, which he actually won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, which is also thin in, all
Which is funny because I thought he was overacting, and then they showed that sequence at the end with the brother. If you watch The Fighter, watch the ending because you realize he hit it dead on. I thought he was overacting, and then it just turned out it was the guy.
Yeah. But yeah, Batman Begins, which was unlike Burton's Batman, which kind of just cuts into the Batman mythos.
Yeah, Burton he didn't read any of the comic books really.
It
was his version. Like, Batman kills. That should tell you something.
Right, and in the comics, Batman doesn't.
Yeah, that's the one rule.
Right. So he does everything but. Like, he brings you to that like right up. No, you're not gonna die. But in Batman Begins, we establish the story of Batman. We see his parents get killed, as a story, and we see him go off into the world and try to find out who he is,
which is very evocative of the comic book.
Right. And then that's where he meets the League of Shadows and encounters Liam Neeson. He learns a lot of things about conquering fear, which is what Batman Begins is about. Like the fear of losing his parents, the fear of not being able to live up to the Wayne.
Yeah, and he says that, and Alfred walks in. Why bats, Master Wayne? He goes, bats frighten me. And he goes, time my enemies share my dread.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what the whole thing is. Sharing that fear.
And along with that scene in the plane where he's talking about, I need to become something more than a man.
Yeah.
I need to be something an image.
Man can be destroyed or bought or anything.
What else did we get? We got the Scarecrow that was in Batman Begins.
Yeah.
And the great thing about what Nolan did, kind of transition to Dark Knight, is he doesn't kill people, so you get to see villains.
And now that the Scarecrow got away, and then in the opening scene for Dark Knight, but let's not get into Dark Knight yet, because also there's an important relationship for Dark Knight that was also introduced and then subsequently ended in Dark Knight, which is
Rachel Dawes.
The Rachel Dawes character, originally played by Katie Holmes and then reprised by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
But I'm also talking about this. I mean, Batman Begins was the starting point, and a lot of people, and it didn't get as much hype as the Dark Knight did, but it's still a very crucial movie in the series.
Well, yeah, and I'm always back and forth, too, on which one's the better film, because one set a tone and changed Batman maybe forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was later confirmed by the Academy with the first time anything was nominated for a superhero film at Academy Awards. This is like when Silence of the Lambs got nominated. It vindicated horror for all those years.
Right.
This vindicated superheroes. That if you go back and watch superhero movies from the 70s and 80s, it's just campy stuff. Marvel Studios has nothing to be proud of before Iron Man.
I think we had X-Men movies, we had the Spider-Man movies,
and Raimi pushed it forward. I want to give Raimi his credit. He pushed it forward a little bit.
And so did Bryan Singer with X-Men. He brought because Bryan Singer did bring a seriousness to X-Men.
And it really all started with Blade, where they were like, you could make a superhero movie that's profitable.
And dark.
We really have to thank Wesley Snipes. I got to think about that for a second. I got to think about that for a second.
No. But Batman Begins, and also a great thing about each of Nolan's Batman movies so far, there is I'm kind of separating the movie, but Wally Pfister, I think his name's Pfister.
The producer?
No, the cinematographer.
Oh, okay.
Each movie has its own almost like color palette, where the Batman Begins was almost this orange brown. Like old,
it was dirty. That was the thing. It was dirty. It was
orange,
gritty.
brown, and in the Dark Knight there was almost this blueness.
It gets a little cleaner, but
but it's still grittiness there.
Yeah.
And this one, from what I've seen, I hate to talk about Dark Knight Rises real quick, but in this, what the trailers have shown, it's like there's a progression. Of the color and.
Oh yeah, and they're making each movie different, but still in the same tone. Batman Begins with huge evolution. Okay. You had this change in tone for what Batman was beginning, especially coming off of the Batman and Robin, which all those actors and everyone on the crew is not allowed to work in comic book movies anymore. So that should tell you about where we left off on this series. So you know how we talk about whether or not we need reboots? Batman needed a reboot. And then we come to Dark Knight, and we're coming off the heels, and everyone's like, oh my God, are we going to be able to do this? They confirmed the Joker. They had that little teaser at the end of the Batman Begins.
With the card.
With the card, which is also from Frank Miller, by the way, so that'll show you what type of Frank Miller's coming into this series a lot.
Just real quick, we talked about Frank Miller earlier, but just so y'all know, Frank Miller is the same guy who wrote the Sin City comics.
Yes.
So that's probably the biggest.
We're dealing with real caliber people here. Like this is when like Alan Moore writes something, spot on.
Right. But the biggest thing about The Dark Knight, the biggest controversy was the casting of Heath Ledger as a Joker.
Everyone was like, Heath Ledger. Like that was the first, no one said it in a positive way.
But I actually was new because there was a movie he did, and I cannot remember what it's called, but it was a very dark, religious cult movie, like a cultish type.
I remember this movie, and
he played a very dark role, and
he was a very good actor, and God rest his soul. I mean, he probably had a promising career ahead of him, but it's a tragedy, unfortunately. But with this, I mean, to show you the level of dedication this guy gave, he locked himself in a hotel room for 3 weeks, figuring out those facial tics that you see in The Dark Knight with the
Which
Joker.
Is what sells.
He did the makeup himself, and he actually even directed those 2 little scenes that you see with the handy cam. Nolan let him direct those.
Oh, the part where
he's filming the guy go, tell him your name, and he's doing that. That's all Heath Ledger. He directed those scenes.
Nice.
And actually, some people were even saying he had a directing future ahead of him too, but that's not here nor there. So coming in, then we have the establishment. We have the establishment of Batman, and then we took maybe the biggest rogue out of the rogues gallery, which is Joker.
Right.
And he goes, okay, you guys want to get rid of all the crime? I'll help you. And it was this really weird thing. He was almost playing on their side for a little while. He was helping them get rid of all the crime. But the whole point was just to get Batman to break this one rule because he knew everyone else was corrupt. And he goes, let's see if we can get you to do this.
Right.
And he just kept pushing
not only that, it was like, I have Batman, I have Harvey Dent, 2 uncorruptible figures, it seems. Which one will be corrupted first? So basically, Harvey Dent becomes, and of course, it's the transition to Two-Face where he uses the coin
which
to decide your fate.
Another huge member of the Rogues Gallery, and he wasn't even brought into play until halfway through the movie.
Almost to the very end.
And it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying to see this man's fall.
Right. Played brilliantly by
Aaron Eckhart, who got the role actually because of Thank You for Smoking.
Yeah.
He saw him in that. That's also another thing I got to give props to Nolan too. He'll look at actors in other movies and go, that's my guy.
Yeah. Finishing up with The Dark Knight.
Yeah, so we have Nolan upping himself, and every movie we go into, we're going, I don't know, and then just, sorry, we're idiots.
Well, I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this. In Nolan, we trust now.
You say that, here's the thing.
I feel that.
I'm still going into this movie with trepidation because I'm just like, dude, how are you going to beat Dark Knight?
He didn't write The Dark Knight. His brother...
Well, he worked on it. He consulted on it.
But his brother, Jonathan Nolan, and David Goyer.
Yeah,
David Goyer, who also wrote The Blade.
Because I'm really worried. Because here's the thing, I'm worried about Terminator 3. That's what I'm looking about. You got Terminator 2, oh my god, and then Terminator 3, oh my god. And we are talking about the end of a trilogy here. That's why we bring up the first 2.
And it's all the posters say. And it's legend will end.
The legend will end, and some people are actually considering Batman may die.
Well, and on that slight bombshell, we're gonna go to commercial break, and we'll be back with our final review, trailer, everything for The Dark Knight Rises. Be back in a second here at Shot Movies.